Tonight, we are continuing our ongoing election series, bringing you conversations with candidates in some of this area's biggest races. These are not debates, but they are a chance for each candidate to lay out what their policies are and why they want your vote. Please note these interviews have been edited down for time. We do have the full versions up on our YouTube channel. Tonight, we focus on the race for Rock Island County Sheriff. Democrat Darren Hart is facing off against Republican Patrick Moody. We'll hear from both of the men tonight and begin with Hart, whose last name comes first alphabetically. It's part of our Your Voice, Your Vote coverage here on News 8 at 6:30.
Can you explain your background in law enforcement and some of the special tasks that you've been on or task force?
Sure. So I've been in law enforcement for 29 years. I actually started back in the early 90s with the city of Rock Island as a police officer. In 1997, I actually went over to the Rock Island County Sheriff's Office, and I've been there for the past 25 years.
This department has been captained by Sheriff Bustos for almost a decade now. You have his full endorsement. If you win on November 8th, would things change in this department, or would we see kind of a continuation of the Bustos sheriff?
No, I mean, obviously there would be changes from staffing to just our daily mission, what we do, the challenges that we face out in the community. We want to make sure that we continue to push forward, build on the foundation that we've had since the early 1800s, and I feel that I'm the individual to kind of push that forward, and I'm definitely going to do everything I can.
Well, let's move on to staffing. It's one of the biggest issues facing not just this department, but all across the nation.
Sure.
What ideas do you have to help improve staffing and help improve morale at the Rock Island County Sheriff's Department?
You know, we definitely need to have that community outreach where we're out, job fairs, we're going to schools. And those are some of the approaches that I'm going to take to get out into our community, have a visible presence. And then I think as we talk about morale, corrections is the area that we're having a lot of issues in. And when I say issues, it's just staffing issues, is that we're down. And that is a national trend as well. But we are making strides there, we will continue to do that and continue to press forward with hiring individuals as quickly as we can. That's what our mission is to be accountable, transparent, and teach people, not teach people, but to be accountable and show compassion to the individuals that we are tasked with supervision, and then we're going to continue to do that.
Do you have any specific ideas for how to not only draw people in, but keep people at the department? We
can definitely look at scheduling. There's a lot of things that we can do to make what we have already in place more enticing. We can definitely look at, wages are always an issue, but we have to be fiscally sound with what we do. It is a very large operation. It's continuous operation. It never shuts down. It's almost $15 million a year to run the Rock Island County Sheriff's Office. And we have to be able to make sure that when we expend resources that we are accountable to the taxpayers of Rock Island County, and I pledge to do that. I've said from day one that I'll have a conservative fiscal management approach.
How would you as a sheriff be prepared for the changes and implementations coming with the SAFET Act?
Sure. Again, we've had a lot of dialogue. There is concerns with some of the legislation in the sense of the elimination of cash bail. That's supposed to start here in January. We are still working through that, what that will look like. But there are other pieces of that legislation that I do support. The Sheriff's Office has had body-worn cameras since 2019. It's part of the new legislation that it's a mandate statewide. We've met that mandate many years ago. The decertification and certification process for law enforcement. I think the community would say we want people who are doing what's right in law enforcement to be law enforcement officers, and that process will allow that to happen. But there is parts of the legislation that we're going to have to work through because we need to be able to go on out and meet our mission, which is protect our communities. And this agency will continue to do that. We will adapt to whatever the legislation looks like come January, and we will be out forefront protecting our communities. That's what we've done, and that's what we will continue to do.
Up next, we'll hear from the Republican candidate, Patrick Moody.